gentlemen, my name is Elliot Palatnik.
I am Robert Kern.
My name is Wei Man Tang.
Hi, I'm Hiren Prajapati.
And my name is Diana Cano. And together, we represent the Iota Lambda chapter of Pace University, located in New York City. The world is a fast-paced and dynamic place. It is safe to say that due to the recent economic downturn, government agencies, regulators, donors, and the general public have created difficult times for nonprofit organizations. Many government agencies require nonprofit organizations to have a policies and procedures manual in order to provide government funding. We are approached by the Vera Institute of Justice through our co-op and career services to help them develop a proper accounting manual in order to address this issue. Vera is an independent, nonprofit, nonpartisan center of justice based in New York City and Washington, D.C. Their mission is to help make justice systems become more effective, fair, and more efficient for the world. We were able to provide helpful insight for the organization, as well as discover weaknesses and provide recommendations for the organization. Today, we will discuss the planning, development, and execution stages of our project, as well as describe the impact the project had on our chapter and the feedback we received from the Vera Institute of Justice. Now, Hiren will discuss our planning stage.
Thank you, Diana. It is crucial to gain an understanding of an organization before we can conduct an analysis. To do so, we researched the company and found out that they provided underprivileged individuals with a chance for a fair trial. Upon learning more about Vera, we immediately decided that this was the company that we wanted to base our project on. We began our project by interviewing Vera's controller, Kern, who provided us with the organization's procedure memos. Together, we developed a plan of action. We decided to hold a friendly competition of 15 three-member teams to see who could come up with the best narratives and flowcharts. This is our way of turning a huge project into an enjoyable learning experience, and most importantly, a way to put into practice what we learned in our auditing and accounting information classes. Listed are the accounting processes that were distributed among the teams. Each team was randomly assigned 3 accounting processes and had the responsibility of creating narratives and flowcharts for each one. Wayman would now discuss the execution of our project.
Thank you, Hiren. Each team was able to successfully create narratives and flowcharts utilizing their documentation and video skills. Throughout the semester, select members of Beta Alpha Psi met with Vera's controller to promote efficient communication, an essential element of any professional's career. Through frequent contact, we were also able to build a meaningful and long-lasting relationship with Vera. In addition to creating narratives and flowcharts, we also required the teams to analyze the organization's internal controls for weaknesses and provide recommendations based on their findings. From the start of our project, we were able to involve 2 of our auditing and accounting professors to help us facilitate a smooth process for the competition and to choose our winners. Once the winners were chosen, we then edited and compiled all the narratives and flowcharts into a uniform accounting policies and procedures manual. Here is an excerpt from the cash disbursement cycle narrative from the accounting manual. All narratives consist of a general description of the responsibilities and day-to-day processes of each Vera staff member. We then use flowcharts to further our documentation and highlight execution of Vera's operations. Here, we have an example flowchart based on the narrative previously discussed. Flowcharts are like blueprints, giving us the cycle in a visually engaging manner and showing us how we can see how processes flow from point A over to point B. Flowcharts not only provides us with an easy interpretation of how an organization operates, but also allows us to clearly see where there are control deficiencies or strengths. On this note, during our compiling and reviewing process, we discover weaknesses in certain cycles. in which Robert will further discuss.
Thank you, Wei Man. As you can see, narratives and flowcharts are an excellent mechanism for documenting a business cycle. Perhaps their most important function is to help identify processes weak internal controls. Internal control deficiencies are most prominent when there is insufficient segregation of duties. In an accounting cycle, there are three functional areas: custody, authority, and record keeping. When one person or department undertakes responsibilities in more than one of these functional areas, there's a problem with segregation of duties, which could potentially lead to fraudulent activities. In preparing the narratives and flowcharts for VERA, we discovered several weaknesses in which we promptly prepared recommendations. To continue with the previously discussed example, some of the weaknesses that we found were in the cash disbursement cycle, in which the junior accountant printed the check preview report, the record keeping function. However, he was also responsible for attaining the blank check stock, a custody function. We take a look at the slide and we see that this red light indicates an internal control weakness. Continuing, the junior accountant was also responsible for performing a completeness examination of the checks he printed, which can be seen in this flow chart. You may have also noticed the green lights, which indicate a strong internal control. To resolve these internal control weaknesses that we found, we recommended that the check stock be maintained by someone specifically designated under the custody function. This person would then maintain a list of the check numbers given to the junior accountant for printing. We also suggested that the controller perform the completeness examination, which would prevent the junior accountant from falsely signing off on the checks due to the program. To communicate our findings, we gathered all of our team's narratives, flowcharts, and recommendations and compiled a uniform policies and procedures manual, as well as the internal control recommendation report, which we submitted to various controller, Greg Clem. I will now turn it over to Elliot, who will discuss the feedback we received.
Thank you, Robert. The process and completion of this project has significantly impacted the VERA Institute of Justice, as well as our chapter members and student body. The policies and procedures manual has and will help VERA better control their organization, as well as provide them $14 million in government funding. Without this funding, VERA would be unable to continue their current operations and successfully complete their mission in improving our justice system. As for our members and student body, we were able to put our knowledge into practice, and we were able to use our skills in providing in a way where we were working with in a very good environment with one another. As for our chapter, we were able to obtain new candidates due to the success of our competition. We were also able, the feedback that we received from VERA's controller was very positive. He said that working with Beta Alpha Psi has been a great experience and great feedback for him and his organization. He also said that our professionalism, our hard work, our dedication was excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to present you with the final product. On behalf of the Iota Lambda chapter, this completes our presentation, and we would like to open the floor to questions.